Hold on. Are we live?
We're
What
live,
happened to
baby.
Dude, what happened to the intro video? What the heck? We're
What's
supposed to
going
have an
on,
intro video,
everybody?
dude.
Trey
What's going
Griggs,
on?
everybody. He
I know. Well, listen,
got the intro.
we got to play the intro video. I don't know what happened, but we got it. I don't know where it went, but it's here. Let's that's not it. What? Dude, something went wrong this morning. Anyways, we are live. We're here. I was going to text Nick, like, let's go during the intro, and then no intro. So good morning, everybody. Iron Minds in the house today. Trey Griggs, my friends Pedro and Michael Lombard. Hopefully, Nick joining us here momentarily. It looks like he's getting his camera all set up, getting ready to go. What's up, gentlemen? Good morning. How's everything going?
Good morning. What is the good word on this beautiful Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025? What's happening out there?
Dude, let me tell you something I've been doing lately. I'm excited about this. So my good friend Dusty Holcomb, he is an incredible leader, and he's a coach. And he has a company called the Arcus Group. He does cohorts, 12 people at a time, going through some curriculum for 12 weeks. Really cool thing. But one thing that he turned me on to was this thing called the 5-Minute Journal. And it's kind of a book, but not really. Like the first 10 pages have some content, but then the rest of it are just open days. And you can see the top portion is the morning portion, the bottom portion is the night. So every morning when you get out of bed, you start with some reflections, and then at night you start with some reflections. Here's some of the things that it asks you to do. It asks you to list 3 things that you're grateful for every morning. It asks you to talk about what would make today great, so you can kind of visioneer what would be a great day today. So if you know you're going to get a workout in, it might be like, hey, a great day would be going through all the reps without getting injured, or going through all my reps and not feeling tired, or whatever it might be. If you know you got a meeting with somebody today, it might be just having a great time, or laughing with them, whatever it might be. The third thing it asks is to write down 2 daily affirmations about yourself. So I am this, I am that. Which the worst voice sometimes in our life is the voice in our heads, and so that's really critical to have that in there. What's up, Nick? Good to see you, my friend. And so you start your day with, I'm grateful for this, would make it a good day, and here's who I am. And then at the end of the day, the 2 things it asks you to do is to say, what are 3 highlights from the day, and what are 2 things I learned today? And so it's just really nice, and it's nice and reflective, and it creates just a little bit of structure for people like me who maybe struggle with structure a little bit. This thing has been great. So I'm sure you can buy it on Amazon or other places. I don't know where I got it. My friend Dusty gifted this to me as being a part of his cohort, and so I got that. But that's what's new, man. That's what's going on. That's what's good. And it's been fun to do that and create a little structure in my life and kind of get going. So
I just got to say, I mean, those right there are some of the habits. I know Nick talks about a lot with putting things on your schedule. When you actually put pen to paper, and I think I've mentioned it before on this show, when we look at and I'm not even talking about far away history, but recent history, probably up until, really the rise of computers, but even think about pre-World War II or World War II and before that, a lot of the reason we know what we know about certain parts of history is because people wrote things down. Like in World War I, there's countless letters, and we've learned so much we could about the First World War because of the letters people wrote. Same thing in the Civil War. In the Civil War, troops would write these letters, and people would write, right. And these letters that these just random, privates, maybe drafted soldiers, these letters that were written back in the day were works of art, literature type levels of the letters that people would write, back, whether it was to their wives or anything like that. It was very, very common to put pen to paper, writing your friends' letters, and telling that, and filling them in on what's happening, and then using and within those letters, they try to be as honest as they could. Some people maybe not so much, but so I mean, it has been common since humans ever figured out how to write to quite literally do some form of journaling. And now we're coming full circle again, where we're where there was a reason why we did it in the first place, and then we stopped doing it, and now people who are picking back up journaling again are being like, wow, this is I feel like my life is improving.
Yeah, it's really healthy. There's a lot to be said about that, man. There's no doubt about it. And I think you're right. You think of letters that were written between George Washington and people of the Congress back in the day, letters that were written between lovers, between husbands and wives. Like we learned so much about history from those letters, but it also, I think, was therapeutic for them to take the time to do that, And so taking 5-10 minutes every morning just to write a couple of thoughts down, and then right before bed, writing a couple of thoughts down, man, it's been so good for me, and I'm really enjoying that. So,
guys,
glad I got a little bit of structure.
I've been carrying a notebook around with me since I was like 5 years old. I was like Harriet the Spy when I was growing up. I've always had and I'm looking over in the corner of my office here, and I've got 2 bins full of old notebooks and journals.
Yeah.
I mean, given I'm always writing, but my entire first book, Through the Fire, almost all of it was written from journals.
From journals, yeah.
Not just journals, actually. To Michael's point, Facebook posts, notes in my note tab, just exchanges with people. Like, I remember people asking me how I remembered the course with such clarity, and I'm like, because I wrote it down.
Yeah, exactly. When my wife and I got engaged and got married, I feel like our engagement story and I feel like our wedding story are like 2 really cool stories. And I remember during our first year of marriage, I wrote it all down in detail because I didn't want to forget it when my kids came around. I wanted them to be able to hear the stories, but by writing it down, it made me remember it even better. And so it's really interesting to think about like what the impact of writing can do. And so it's just been really fascinating to see that and to do that. And
journaling
it's
really
just cool stuff.
The perspective, because I'll tell you the amount of times I sat down to write about one thought in one topic, and I ended up just going a completely different direction, teaching myself a life lesson. I mean, it's one thing, we might be recording some events, but when you really let the pen go, and you just start writing whatever comes to mind, you see some things.
Yeah, totally. That's absolutely true, man. It's pretty powerful. So yeah, just writing those things down. Well, it's interesting too, because I recently cleaned out my office. My office was kind of a mess, and there, I just felt like I needed clarity in mind. And I thought clarity of office would really help with that. And one of the things that was in the office was on the shelf were journals that my wife and I used back before we were even married. We were just sitting there, and I'm reading through them, and it's like you read through and go, oh, that's what she was dealing with. I remember that moment in time. I was like reading through my own, and it was like really, really good to just read through those. It'll be good for our kids to pull those out of the basement when we pass away someday and read those journals. Just to remember what mom and dad were going through back in the day, whenever they were newly married or whatever. So
they can also serve as reminders for you too. And I'll just say there was a place I was employed at in the past where I used to journal, and a couple of years later had an opportunity to revisit employment there, and I came across that journal, and I'm like, oh no, I was right, it was a shit show. So the graduation rose-colored glasses that develop over time, maybe it will be all right. And I'm like, no, it won't.
Yeah,
move on.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Speaking of journaling, like that's a little fun fact about Mark Twain's autobiography. He and I don't know if it was just a troll or if it was like a slight insecurity, but when he wrote his autobiography, like it wasn't to be released for I think 100 years or something after his death, because his autobiography came out in like 2011 or 2012. I'd have to look up the exact date, but he had set it up to where it couldn't be released to the public because he wanted to make sure that everybody who possibly knew him personally was dead before it could be released.
Yeah. Oh man, it's interesting. Good morning, Jessica. Good to see you. She's always with me. Jessica's on. She's a rock, man. She's a rock. Good to see you, my friend.
How we talk about ourselves is important. You mentioned that with the journaling, and there's the reason why I posted that video to LinkedIn. Normally, anytime I excessively cuss, I maybe be like, I don't want to clog LinkedIn feeds. But then I realized,
that video was fire, dude.
I think LinkedIn needs more content, needs more motivational content like that. I see reels on LinkedIn. It's always like, here's what you're doing. Here's what you should say during job interviews and resumes. And it's like,
here's how I made my first $1 million.
Yeah, here's what I did this, and it's like when it comes to how people talk about themselves, it is uncanny, and the reason why I made that video is because I get set off because I do this quite often. It's primarily with women at the gym at Orange Theory when I see what they're doing and I know for a fact they can do more, they can do better, especially given the exercise. There's some times where a workout should call for something a little bit more lighter because of the functionality. But when it comes to a chest press, whichever, like, no, like you want to kind of be working to the point of fatigue by your last rep, to where you get the last rep up and you need to take the rest. And I will bring the dumbbells over, and the first reaction is, there's no way, I can't, absolutely not. Or I'll get fed, like, I went really hard, like I'm still sore from yesterday, or like something. There's an immediate sort of rationalization for why they can't do it immediately. And we're not talking about, reinventing the wheel here or doing something crazy. We're talking about
just
a 5-pound
limits a little bit.
A 5-pound jump in your dumbbell weights. And it's like at first action. But I guarantee if I went to that person's work and their boss gave them a brand new responsibility or something like that, oh yeah, I'll get it done. I will get it done, no problem. And they might not know how to do it. It's probably maybe somebody got fired or quit, and they've got to do something that's outside of their wheelhouse. And they'll be like, yes, I will do it. They'll take it on and figure it out. When it comes to something that's going to serve them in a certain way, it's like, all of a sudden it's, oh no, there's no way. I can't do it. And it's just like, and over time it was just like eating at me. And I was like, you know what? There's a common trend with this.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. It's so good. Let me read some of these that I've written so far, because this has been just a good exercise for me. I wrote, one day I wrote, I'm a great writer and speaker. I wrote, I am perfectly loved by God. One of them I put, I'm a child of the one true God. I'm stronger than I believe, especially when I give something to God. And one day I wrote, I'm a great father to my daughters. God loves me fully and is the perfect father, especially if somebody, had a father situation. But here's what I'm also doing is I'm going to try to trick myself. So here's what I wrote yesterday. I wrote, I'm a great marketer, but then I wrote, and this is hilarious, I'm a great driver of the golf ball. because I'm not a great driver of the golf ball right now, but I'm going to stop telling myself that. I'm going to stop telling myself that I'm not a great driver of the golf ball. I'm going to try to see if that changes.
I complain about all the things that are wrong with me every single day when I'm like, oh, my stride sucks because of this and blah, blah, blah. And that's the run I have. That's what's in my head. I absolutely believe in visualization. I believe in intention. I believe in positive thinking. I mean, there's so much more untapped power that I think most of us, self-included, is even willing to believe. I even write about it when I talk about visualizing for the Boston Marathon the first time, and how even though it was 18 degrees and sleeting, I literally did not know how to quit it. My brain couldn't function that way because I had visualized finishing so many times for so long. Yeah. It's just incredible why I don't do that in every other aspect of my life.
Yeah. And it's funny, whenever I talk about my golf game, I always say, oh, my driver's my worst club in the bag. I can't get off the tee. I can't hit the golf ball. I can't drive the ball. It's always I can't, or it's terrible. And I'm never trying to affirm myself and change the conversation in my head, which I know this is silly. It's just golf. Who cares, right? But there's something to be said about visualizing what I can do. And I know I've hit the golf ball good before off the tee. I've hit good tee shots. It's not like I've never hit a good tee shot before. It's just that I've convinced myself that I'm a bad driver of the golf ball. So I decided I'm going to see if I can trick myself and change that and start talking positively about how I drive the golf ball. And, we'll see what happens when I get back on the golf course, if I can keep that momentum going. I plan to keep that going and keep telling myself good things. But, people who are successful have positive conversations in their mind. And man, what we say to ourselves is more important than what other people say to us, and so often we self-destruct internally. We talk down about and talk bad about ourselves more than anybody ever talks bad about us. And those conversations are the most important ones.
And a lot of times what people say. Did you guys
just see me knock out 10 push-ups? Did anybody see that just real quick? Knock out 10 push-ups. The shoulder's feeling good. Let's go.
Frozen shoulders back. But and I'd go as far to say, a lot of times when people say certain things, that can fire you up. Like if somebody tells you, like in a lot of ways, if somebody tells me I can't do something, you're almost more inclined to say, oh no, this is, I'd say a lot of people are wired that when they're told that they can't do something, that'll fire them up to be able to do it. There's a Napoleon quote straight out of the GOAT himself, whereas he says the moral is to the physical as 3 is to 1. He was a firm believer that like big type esprit de corps guy, where like the more fired up army is probably going to win. And it's the same thing in like sports. Like you know if you are fired up by the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter to where you feel just as good and you are just as excited as when the as the first kickoff, like that's going to carry that could carry you to winning the game, really. Like the more fired up person, the person who's that confident is going to win.
Dude, let me tell you about that. So I'm watching the Netflix series Quarterback, which is produced by Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning. And it follows the pattern of three quarterbacks, or the path of three quarterbacks during a season. So it followed Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions last season. I mean, listen, they were so beat up on defense. They had so many injuries on defense, but their coach kept saying, we're going to go in and we're going to attack and we're going to win these games. And there was one game in particular, I would have just watched it, where in the week leading up to the game, knowing that their defense was depleted and that they were bringing in guys off the street to try to play, he looked Jared Goff in the eyes in front of the entire team and said, it's all on you this week. You got to be an animal this week and get after it. And the Detroit Lions last year went 15-2 in the regular season. And I guarantee you, they won games last year that they should not have won because of their mindset, because of how they were talking to themselves and how they were talking to each other, and that attack mentality and I can mentality and we will mentality. And man, those things are powerful. Those are big differences. You know, it was cool to watch that, to see, you know, their coach Dan Campbell, who's very big on just positive affirmations and how you talk to yourself, how do we talk to each other. And man, it was cool to see, man. It was really cool to see the power of that.
And it's not like a fake it till you make it, because that's what people think. They're like, it's you fake it till you make it. It's like, no, it has everything to do with actually starting to believe it.
I even talked about that at my talk, where I talk about the self-belief. You have to believe it first. And sometimes it's not faking it till you make it. It's telling yourself the story until you start to believe it. And I mean, why not? I've been telling myself I suck for 46 years. Why can't I change it a little bit?
That's right. That's right. We have control. Nobody's telling us what to say to ourselves. You know, we have control over what we say to ourselves and how we talk about it. Hey, I wanted to switch over to Pedro. Pedro, you're out there crushing it this morning with the walk. And before we hopped on here, we were backstage. You were talking about how your journey is going with your fitness and with your weight loss goals. I'm curious, have you been journaling anything about this and about how you feel and about what's going on? Has that happened yet for you?
No, man. You know, I used to journal when I was younger, like, I don't know, before adulthood, but I kind of lost it, man. So no, I haven't been journaling anything, man. Listen, I'm a diagnosed narcissist. I do not need to write anything down to pump myself up. Let's just get that straight right now. I don't need anybody telling me how awesome I am.
Well, maybe you can write some things down just to talk about how you feel on this journey, so you can reflect on it, look back on it later on. But man, dude, I'm excited.
Oh no, that's a good one. I haven't thought about that.
We were just talking about how, you've reached the place where you're right at where Lombard was back in the day when he really started his journey and moved where he's going. Like, there's got to be some encouragement, some excitement, like just knowing where you've come so far on this journey and the fuel to just keep going and keep moving along. So we're excited for you, man, this morning.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I've as of Sunday, I think it was, when I weighed in, or maybe just a morning, but it's officially 40 pounds that I've lost over the last 10 months. I'll really say 9. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'll say 9 because it was, I think, September when I actually got with Lombard and, started getting his help and stuff. But, saying that this is where he was when he started his journey, coincidentally, when I was an OTR driver, I had started my fitness journey the first time. I remember when I went to my interview with PFG, and I was 279 pounds. I don't know why after all this time I remember that, but I do. And that weight was the realization back then in 2010 that said, wow, man, you're really on a bad path. You're like mid-20s. You're not going to live a long, healthy life if you stay this way. So it's kind of a surreal thing for me, because here this weight, this new weight, which was the shocking weight to me over a decade ago, was a goal for me when I started this, not too long or 9 months ago. Was, man, if I can just get back down into the 270 range, like that'd be great. I know I can do it from there. And so now that I'm here, it's just
that's right.
Yeah, exactly, man. And now it's motivating myself to push on to the next one, man. Just keep going. And go ahead, Trey.
Let me encourage you to remove a couple of words from your vocabulary. All right. Let me encourage you to remove the word if. Not if, but when. Think about when instead of if. Not can, but will. Don't think about what you can do. Think about what you will do. Man, like just a change in some of those words.
And there is
changes
no try.
everything.
Do or do not.
You do it or you don't. That's right. So good. Just, man, that's just a little change of the words, man. But Pedro, man, congratulations, dude. So excited for you, bro.
No, I appreciate it, man. And this is a testament also to our tribe, man. Like when people ask me how I'm able to do this, like, yeah, I give credit to myself, but man, I've tried this before over the last 10 or 15 years, and I've failed. And I have said repeatedly that I really accredit this journey and my success and my continuing to want to do it with the people that I'm around and that I have in my life in the form of Iron Minds here, both here, the Slack group that I have with Lumbar, talked about that a lot. So, thank you to you guys for being behind me, man, and keep pushing me and, giving me that congratulations, because it's one thing to congratulate yourself on a success, but let's be honest, we all like affirmation from our peers too,
Yeah, well, let's really be honest. I mean, there have been many weeks where the only workout that I got that week was Tuesday morning on Iron Minds. For whatever reason, whether I was in a bad place mentally or maybe I was busy or whatever it was, this was the only workout that I got. And the reason that I got it was because I knew you guys were counting on me. And that's powerful, just to have people who are counting on you and you don't want to let them down. Because I heard this week, and I can't remember who mentioned it, who might be one of you guys, but we let ourselves down all the time. But it's a lot harder to let someone else down because of that peer pressure. So having that tribe of people who are expecting you to show up, there's a little pressure in that, and so that builds the habit. It's like if people expect you to be at the gym, you'll go to the gym, even if you don't do anything. And after a while, you start doing stuff. And after a while, you get in a rhythm, and then it starts to feel really good. So, I mean, just the fact that we do this once a week has been the thing that has kept me going, even if it's just one workout a week. It's powerful, to have that community. It's powerful to have that in your life.
As Lombard brought up a couple of weeks ago, it's not just the accountability, but the tribe sharpens you. I mean, we're we've got our message group with Alex Bates and myself and Michael, and whether or not we're getting on Alex to make sure he's getting his training in, or Michael's on me about clipping in or nutrition, where it's a mechanism of improvement, and one that honestly I didn't lean into. I was talking about it last night, how my fitness path and how my relationship with fitness evolved. And when it took losing it for me to want it back, it took me being overweight too. And when Michael was talking about the people in his class and their instinctual answer to say no, I can't. I mean, I was me when I was 240 pounds sitting on the couch. I was like, I can't. And it was a simple thing of saying, I can't exercise. I can't go to the gym. I can't this, because of all the excuses of comfort that I had created in my life, that I started to believe it. I honestly believed I would never run again, because that's the story I told myself over and over and over again. And it just needs something to break the chain. For me, it was a big splash or a big why, but sometimes it's, leaning into that community and just finding other people who are just one step ahead of where you are.
Yeah, look at this. I love this. Jessica said, funny as being someone on this side, she's watching the show. I feel the same. Y'all count on me to be here at least to give you a good morning. We do, Jessica. We love it.
We do.
The one a week keeps me committed. I'm telling you, it's great. Like that's what it's all about. And let's speak some affirmations. We're gonna have 100 people watching this show live within the next 2 months. We're gonna have 100 people watching this show live in the next 2 months. We're gonna promote this thing. We're gonna keep growing this community and do a better job of marketing it. and we're going to get more people involved in this tribe who are going to take that 1 week step, 1 week challenge, and see what that turns into. Show up for one another. So we got a lot of good things coming, which is great. Hey, let me tell you something else along the lines of I can and I will. Okay. So many of you guys know I run a golf tournament called the Post and Pray Classic, and I'm going to be taking that to other conferences now. It's going to be the Women in Trucking, I believe. I'm talking to Manifest about doing 2 tournaments down there, and I'm working on getting up to 6 to 8 golf tournaments a year in the industry and bringing people together and having fun. And I've always wanted to build technology, and I've thought through like, how can I manage all these golf tournaments by myself and build technology? And I ran across, I had a friend, actually our friend Gabe Pankman up in Fargo, North Dakota. He recommended this application called Base 44. And I started looking into it and started playing around with it. And guys, listen, I'm telling you, I have created a platform for not only me managing golf tournaments, but for the golfers and the sponsors to participate in the tournament as well. And I'll be honest, I never thought I was actually going to build a piece of technology. Now, I'm not a coder. I can't take credit for that, but I built this thing. Look at this. This is the application right here. And in this, you got your profile. There's a community application where you can have some community feeds and talk trash to one another. You can put your scores in here, but you can sign up for a tournament. And look at all these admin features I built down here of things I can manage down here on the right. And this is something that I did over the last 2 weeks, put this thing together using a software that helps me to do it. And it's like, it's so cool to say, yeah, I didn't code this, but I built this. Like I imagine this, and this is now my platform that I'm going to be using. People can sign up for tournaments here. So when you're looking for a tournament, you can sign up for it. So for example, clicking right here, go into this tournament. I've already signed up for it, but you can register another player. You can become a sponsor right in here. All the details to the tournament, the sponsors that are currently signed up. Shout out to our friends over at 3PL Systems and Revanova and Tyson Lawrence Coaching. But all this it's just all right here. I'm so excited that I can now say that I have built a piece of software, which I honestly never thought I would do. And here we are. And it's almost functional. I'm about to launch it to the community. Like you got to get away from the I can't or I never will. You got to get away from those statements, Like
it's like the Strava of golf. That's something that could really, really take off.
Golf community, baby. Like it's going to be great. Like social media aspects, you can direct message people. You can sign up for tournaments. You can trash talk. If you're a sponsor and you want some swag, but you don't even know what to order, there's a place where sponsors can order swag, custom swag with their logo on it, and I'll order it for them. And it'll be there when they show up for the tournament. Like I've just been thinking through what would make this a great experience for all the players and all the sponsors, and it's fun, man. It's fun just to be kind of dreaming and figuring these things out. But if you follow the mindset of I can't, you're not going to see these opportunities. That post that Gabe put out about Base 44, if I wasn't thinking about building technology or building a piece of software, I probably would have missed it. But I was already thinking I got to build something to help me manage this. I got to figure it out. And it came along and I jumped on it and it worked out. So get rid of that I can't mentality and move it to I will. I will do this. And you don't know when, you don't even know how. I didn't know I was going to be able to build a piece of software, but the right tool came along and I was able to do it. And now it's real. So I love that. Love that.
Yeah, once you start having the I can conversations, you're going to start having them with other people. Those people are going to guide you to exactly who you need to talk to build it. It opens the doors. Because if you keep saying I can't, if you've convinced yourself, you've already shut the door, so it's never going to happen. But as you keep talking about it, people, they call it manifesting and stuff, and people sometimes giggle at that term, but there's really truth to it, to where when you start putting those things out into the universe, that energy, again, we believe that, if Wi-Fi can carry a signal, like when it comes to signals, like Wi-Fi itself, like we believe that apparently Wi-Fi can just shoot out a beam and the computer picks up the internet. Humans are no different. We there's an energy that we put out there that that other people in the universe is going to receive, and people can feel that energy when it goes out there. And when that energy goes out there, the universe is going to respond in a certain way. Yeah. That's going to make it happen. But if the energy you're putting out is negative, then unfortunately that's what you're going to get in return.
That's right. And I heard this one time, and I've never forgotten this. I heard this one time from someone that really hit me. And he said, once you decide where you want to go in life, once you up here really decide where you want to go in life, the vehicle will show up to take you there. But you have to decide that that's where you're going, and then it'll show up. It'll take you there, whatever that looks like. Whether it's a physical journey or a career journey or a hobby journey or whatever it is. Like once you mentally decide that that's where you're going and you're committed to that, the vehicle, the people, the tools will show up to take you there. And I've never.
You know why most people won't believe that? Because the vehicle shows up and it looks like work. And so most people don't, they say, oh man, I'm waiting for my big break, not realizing it, that you were just presented what you need to do to get there.
Yeah, I've heard it said before that opportunity often disguises itself as hard work.
You know, it's funny though, because what you said, when I wanted to be a speaker, I had no idea. I bought this book like by the NSA. I was reading some things, watching some YouTube videos, looking at a couple speakers I knew. But it was having lunch with an old buddy of mine that I used to work with at Blue Grace, and I told him, I was like, you know, I really like to be a speaker. I just don't know where to start. And he was like, hey, my buddy who I went to law school with actually became a speaker and started this program for blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and that's where I started. Yeah.
And then lo and behold, Pedro wears a Fuck Cancer shirt at BCS. And I'm like, whoa, what's that from? What is that about? And then he tells me about you. And then that was a pretty cool thing too. You didn't have to make that shirt and Pedro didn't have to wear it.
I love telling that story because there's actually another part of it too, which is the guy who I saw this guy at a networking event about a month ago. That he's a banker here in Tampa, and I was networking with him, just having a conversation on LinkedIn. And when I had nothing left to say, like I was like, all right, we don't really have anything left to talk about. I asked him, I was like, hey, do you know anyone who could, I'm a speaker. Do you know anyone who could benefit from a story like mine? And he's the one who connected me to the American Cancer Society in the first place. Nice. And so when I saw him last time and I got to tell him just this whole circle of things that all started with that one conversation, because there's a Jimmy Buffett song and I love the line. It goes, you don't even know who can help you make it come true.
Dude, that's a great line, man.
That
is such a great line. So good. All right, well, let's finish with that, boys. So opportunity often disguises itself as hard work. Change the conversation in your mind. Get rid of the ifs, turn them into wins. Get rid of the cans, turn them into wills, and start telling yourself the right story in your mind. Find your troop, find your tribe, find your troop, find your group. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Love you guys. Pedro, keep it up, man. Proud of you. We'll see you guys in the flip-flop. Have a great week, everybody. Let's go.